Alright guys, this is section 3 of our unit 2 checkup. So we are still on page 101, but you're going to flip back to page 90 just so you can look at those rules. I did not want to write that extensive list up on the board. So we're working with singular and plural nouns. So we're learning how to change a singular noun into a plural noun. And we're learning the rules that would help us always be able to identify what form we need to change the word into. And then of course we have irregular forms that we have to get into the habit of memorizing. So I'm only going to work 25 through 35 with you guys, and I'm only working the odds, but of course you are expected to do all of the problems, including even in odds. So on section 3, the instructions say to write the correct form of the incorrectly spelled singular or plural nouns in these sentences. If a sentence has no incorrectly spelled word, write correct. Use your dictionary if you need help. So 25. When you work with computers, you learn new ways to use common words. So of course, they're wanting you to learn how to identify an incorrectly spelled word. Otherwise they would have just written out the word for you and then asked you to change it into the correct form. So for 25, we have ways. You should have identified that ways is spelled incorrectly. It's spelled W-A-Y-E-S. So if you're flipping back to your rule book, I'll give you a second to identify the correct rule to follow for ways. So on my book, I've marked it with dots. So it should be the second dot. Nouns ending in Y preceded by a vowel. So way is spelled W-A-Y. So A would be a vowel, and Y is preceding that vowel. So it should change into W-A-Y-S. So for number 25, we have ways to W-A-Y-S. Alright, so you can go ahead and pause the video and work number 26. But I'm going to go ahead with 27. So 27 reads, old-fashioned printers had daisy wheels, which looked a little like daisies or like spokes that have tooths on them. So there are two incorrectly spelled words in this sentence. The first being daisies. So I'm going to give you guys a second to flip back into your rule book. I'm going to grab this marker to write. Okay, so I've given you guys more than enough time to figure out which rule to use. Okay, so it would be nouns ending in Y preceded by a consonant. So you change the Y to I first, and then you're going to add ES. So when it comes to daisies, that's what they have in the book, that first example, but you want to change it into D-A-I-S-I because the I replaces the Y, and then you want to add ES. So this is the part that's new. And that's when the Y precedes a consonant. So in this example, the Y preceded a vowel. And there is one more example in 27, and it would be tooths. So this is not something that you're going to find in your book because this is in a regular form and they don't have the time to list everything. But it would be rule number 1. Some plurals are formed by irregular spelling changes. So we have child to children, foot to feet, mouse to mice, and tooth to teeth. So those are rules. Those irregular forms are you're going to have to commit to your memory. Alright, so let's go to 29. Remember, I'm skipping the evens, but you are doing them yourself. You can pause the video. So 29. Almost all professions have uses for the computer. So I'll give you guys a second to identify incorrectly spelled words. But of course, there are none in this sentence. So make sure you write correct for 29. Okay, going to 31. Computers make it easier for doctors to make whatever they were trying to say there, diagnoses. So what they did is they tried to add, let me show you on the board. They took this word and they tried to add ES to the end. But that's incorrect. When a noun ends in SIS, or really this part, IS, it needs to change into ES. So this would be the correct spelling of diagnoses. And this is for 31. Alright, going to 33. Farmers can keep track of their sheep, pigs, and oxes. So flipping back, we're looking at some nouns have the same singular and plural forms. So that would be the case with sheep, which they demonstrate for us. And then we're looking at oxes as well. So sheeps would be sheeps would change into sheep, and oxes would change into oxen. So oxen is one of those irregular spelling changes that you're just going to have to commit to your memory. And of course, you can always check in the dictionary. It will easily tell you what the correct spelling should be. And then 35. So this one's pretty straightforward. So they tried to change fact to facts. And they tried to add an ES on it, but it should be just an S. And this follows our number one rule on our book, in our chart, the first rule. Most singular nouns, you're just going to add an S on it. Alright, so that's section 3. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section.